feel as if you're going to fall out of the duck on today's tour, well, just grab onto that person next to you and take them with you. As I do not stop for just one person. Now, I do like to play a little game with my riders. Now, if we're ever going down a hill, around a curve, or even both, and you all stick up your hands at the same time, then I will do it with you. Now, nobody ever wants to play that game. I don't understand why. Today's tour, there's a very good chance we'll be seeing some wildlife. So if you do happen to spot any more, just let me know. I'll do my best to get you a better look at it. But on the rare occasion that we don't see any more wildlife, then I'll just take off my mic, hand it to the gentleman directly behind me, and he'll tell you all about his wildlife. Just keep it PG around the kids. But you guys are actually pretty lucky if you want to look off to the left. You see some wildlife right in between that circle of trees. You see it in the back there? You see it in front here at least? No? Because I don't see it either. Just keep looking, there's probably something there. But now if we don't see any wildlife on the tour, just know you guys do have an absolute party animal driving your tour today. From what I can remember at least. Now if you guys look off to your right, you'll notice that danger sign. Well, that sign is there because we're about to enter one of the most dangerous parts of today's tour, known as the S-turns. Now the S-turns are exactly what you're thinking of. They look just like the letter H. But before we go down, because it is so dangerous, I am required to ask you guys to reach under your seat and grab those red safety belts. Strap yourselves in just for this portion of the tour. Everybody all good? Good all over the board? Alright, thank goodness. I do want you guys to know you are the first people in 75 years to actually find those seat belts. Just like that, we've descended down into the beautiful Ferndale. Now, as we make our way deeper into Ferndale, you might notice a slight drop in temperature. That's due to two different reasons. The first reason being this natural canopy of trees right above us, blocking out most of the sunlight. And the second reason being these rock formations you'll see on either side of the duck. These rock formations trap in a lot of moisture and create a natural air conditioner down here. So at any given time, Ferndale could be 5 to 10 degrees cooler than the surrounding area. Alrighty guys, you see the water and you know exactly what that means. So, get ready to stop and check for traffic. Right now, our plunge into the Pacific Ocean might get just a tad bumpy, so as a precaution, I'm going to have you guys with your left hand. Just grab onto that seat right in front of you, hold on. And with your right hand, just plug your nose. Now you guys might see me get a little wet here. That's why we lift up the feet. And just like that, we're now a boat of the Lone Wisconsin River. And with this lever, I did just disengage the wheels. So if you look on either side of the dock, you'll see them slowly sinking to the bottom. Now, the Wisconsin River is considered one of the hardest working rivers in the entire world, powering 27 hydroelectric dams on its 430-mile trip diagonally across the state of Wisconsin, where it eventually empties out into the Mississippi River in Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin. So, for those not from Wisconsin or just kind of unfamiliar with the cities, Prairie du Chien is located more in the southwest portion of the state. Of the tour. So we guys look off to the left and follow the shoreline to the right, all the way to that small mushroom-looking rock sticking out of the trees. You'll see what's known as Pulpit's Rock. And there's a little story behind it. So it said that in the 1800s, a traveling preacher would come to this area and teach atop Pulpit's Rock to the Native Americans in their birch bark canoes below. But he was a long-winded preacher, and eventually the Native Americans would get bored and fall asleep during his sermons. Well, this angered the preacher and made him want to spice things up just a little bit. So to spice things up, he actually went into town and bought himself a baby grand piano to use during his sermons. Now, when he brought that piano in, everyone was just having an outstanding time. Almost too good of a time. Because one day while they were all rocking out together, a large thunderstorm rolled right through the area. They didn't even notice. Until a large bolt of lightning struck Pulpit's Rock, cracking it right in half, launching that preacher all the way into the tree over there, which I think it's that green one, and sending that baby grand piano just off the right side where it still lies today, leg against the rock, and he's facing the heavens. So now, just a show of hands, does anyone actually believe that story like I do? Oh, that's a lot of people. I love that. It's the record amount. Now, for those short amount of unbelievers, I do want you to know that story is 100% factual. And I do actually invite you to swim or even kayak up to that piano, because I guarantee you can still get some music out of it, but it's a pretty short selection. It's only hard rock. I'll just let you guys know that is the best joke of the tour. It is all downhill from here. May have looked at the water of the Wisconsin River and wondered why it's such a weird brown color to it. Well, that color is not due to pollution or anything of the sort. It's actually due to the fact that the Wisconsin River flows through several tamarack swamps in northern Wisconsin. In these swamps, tannic acid is secreted into the water, giving it that color. Now, you may be thinking tannic acid, well, that just sounds gross and kind of scary, but it's actually not. It's found in many drinks that we have day to day, including Coca-Cola, Pepsi, coffee, different kinds of teas, and my personal morning beverage of choice, which I actually had right before the tour today, some Jack Daniels. coming up on our second and possibly most famous rock formation of the tour. So if you guys just look straight ahead and follow the shoreline to its left most point, look up around 50 feet, you'll see what's known as Hawks Peak. But to see Hawks Peak, you do have to use your imagination a little bit. So that topmost rock curved down just a little bit. It's going to be the Hawks Upper Peak, around 10 feet below that curved upwards. That's going to be the Hawks Lower Peak. And then right in between the two, that small rock sticking out, that's going to be the Hawks Top. And if you stretch your imagination just a bit further, look right above that upper peak, that slit in the rock, that's going to be the Hawks Eye. And around 20 feet to the right of that, that large rock coming out directly at us, that's going to be the Hawks Lead Shoulder as it soars over the Wisconsin River. Now, the reason that I mentioned Hawks Peak possibly being the most famous rock formation of the tour is because in the 1960s, Hawks Peak was actually featured in Life magazine. Did everybody find Hawks Peak all right? Just a general disclaimer to you guys, it's actually not a real rock. It's just a rock formation. If you guys want to switch it up from Hawks to Eagles, you'll be able to see our national bird on the right shoreline. Now, if you guys just look at that first sandstone cliff off to the left of Hawks Peak, look at the tallest tree almost diagonal towards the river, up towards the top branch. You'll see our national bird, the bald eagle. You guys see the bald eagle? Right up there. It's a paid actor. So now, if you guys look on either side of the river, you will notice these tall sandstone cliffs. Well, these cliffs are made of a very rare kind of sandstone, known as Potsdam sandstone. Now, the sandstone is so rare that it's found in only 4 areas in the entire world. Potsdam, Germany, where it gets its name originally. Zurich, Switzerland. Upstate New York, where it's found only underwater. And then this 10-mile stretch of the Wisconsin River. Now, the sandstone is so soft and brittle that hard to give you any chunk of it. Your fingers are just crushed in your hand with ease. And it's also so porous, it absorbs so much moisture, that if you look right on top of the cliffs, you'll notice that trees can go right into them with little to no topsoil. So now at the end of the tour today, I'm going to randomly select one of you guys to repeat back what I just said word for word about the sandstone. And if you cannot do that, we are leaving you in the forest. Now, I say that it is a random selection, but I do have a particularly strong bias towards Chicago Bears fans. So, hope you're now one of those. Mr. Jet boat over there comes by us because we want to see some good old waves. Maybe you'll get to see why we do call this the Pacific Ocean. talking about what we're about to talk about now. If you guys just look off to the right and follow the shoreline to the left, you'll notice a slight change in scenery between the trees. Well, that's actually the location of one of the worst natural disasters in this area's history. Now, on June 9, 2008, this area received a record amount of rainfall, causing Lake Delton, which is just on the other side of that highway, to rise up 51.5 inches and eventually reach over into the Wisconsin River, taking with it 5 summer vacation homes, a chunk of that highway, this entire chunk of land. It only took around 2.5 hours for Lake Delton to drain all 267 acres into the river. And if you do need a better mental picture of how high the river actually got on that day, you guys can look off to the left and look where the sand meets the grass. So now later on in the tour, I'll be able to show you guys different pictures of that breach when it occurred and why it ended up costing around $2.7 million to fix. Shortly making our first amphibious landing by Dell Creek. Now, in these summer months, Dell Creek is known for getting extremely shallow. Sometimes if it gets me stuck. So if we do happen to get stuck, do not worry, because I have the foolproof plan for you. So myself and other strong gentlemen on board will make our way to the back of the dock, where we will gently lower all the women and children into the freezing cold water of the Wisconsin River, where they will push us to safety. Does that work for everybody? No? Oh, you're in luck because I am just joking. The water's not that cold. But as you guys can see, Dell Creek is pretty shallow today, so we are going to be driving a majority of it. So if you guys can just stay seated, hold on to your possessions, hold on to your children, or don't. I'm not watching. And then as we get towards the end of Dell Creek, there's going to be a little speed bump, so be ready for that. I know we're going too fast already. W.J. Newman Dam. Built back in 1927 to hold back the rushing waters of Dell Creek, thus forming artificial Lake Dalton. So after that 2008 disaster, just to the right of the dam, an 80-foot spillway was put in for the low cost of $1.5 million in hopes that it would prevent a disaster like that from ever occurring again. Alright guys, how do we want to go in the water today? Slow, fast, or half-assed? We can do half-assed. So now, just as a warning, when we do end up going fast into the water, a slight miss by myself in the first two rows. That's nothing compared to that 50-foot tidal wave coming over the back of the dock, splashing the back three. So if you guys do have anything on the ground, I recommend you pick those things up, because if anything does come washing up to me, I do get to keep it and sell it on eBay. Except for small children, give those away back. So now if you guys did manage to get a little wet on our entrance into the lake, just remember that this is artificial Lake Dalton. So the water's artificial too. So you're not actually wet. Catch up to this guy right here. Just because my duck's faster than this.